What if I told you the god you thought was the villain was actually the most just and loyal of them all? This isn't the devil in disguise, it's the misunderstood ruler of the dead, Hades. Forget everything you think you know about Hades. No, he wasn't the Greek devil. No, he didn't torture souls in hell. And no, he wasn't evil. This is the true story of Hades, the god who kept order in the world beneath, loved only one woman his whole life, and ruled with fairness when others ruled with ego. Stick around, because once you see the real Hades, you'll never watch mythology the same way again. A god from darkness, not of darkness. Hades, son of Cronus and Rhea, was born into a war-torn world of divine fear. His father, terrified of a prophecy that said he would be overthrown by his children, swallowed each of them at birth. Hades spent years in his father's belly, imprisoned in silence and darkness, but destiny had different plans. When Zeus, the youngest, escaped this fate, he returned as a liberator, forcing Cronus to regurgitate his siblings. The brothers and sisters united and declared war on the Titans. This was the Titanomachy, a clash that shook the heavens for 10 years. When the gods won, the cosmos needed order. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades drew lots to divide the world. Zeus got the sky, Poseidon the sea, and Hades got the underworld. Not as a punishment, but as a responsibility. He was chosen to guard the balance between life and death. Let's debunk a major myth. The underworld was not hell. In Greek mythology, the underworld was a realm of layers and justice. The Elysian fields were for heroes and the righteous. The asphodel meadows were for ordinary souls. Tartarus was for the wicked and the treacherous. But Tartarus wasn't Hades' playground. It was its own domain, deeper than Hades' realm. Hades didn't torture people. He didn't assign punishments. He didn't take pleasure in suffering. He managed the dead, fairly, neutrally, quietly. He was the judge who never played favorites, the gatekeeper who followed the rules, the god who ruled what no one else wanted to. And in that silence, he became feared, not for cruelty, but for mystery. So how did Hades become the devil in modern eyes? Blame modern Western media. Blame pop culture. Blame the church. As Christianity spread through Europe, it brought with it the idea of Satan, a dark fallen angel who ruled over the damned in a fiery hell. When ancient myths were retold, Hades' dark realm seemed familiar. He wore black, he ruled the dead, he lived underground. It was an easy mistake to make, but a mistake nonetheless. In truth, Hades was the opposite of Satan. He never rebelled, he never seduced or corrupted, he kept the system working. He didn't demand temples, he didn't crave worship, he didn't even sit on Mount Olympus. He stayed out of divine politics. He just did his job. And yet, silence was mistaken for evil.
Now let's revisit one of the most infamous myths in Greek lore, the tale of Hades and Persephone. At first glance, it seems like a dark abduction, but Greek myths are layered, symbolic, and often misunderstood. Hades fell in love with Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest. He asked Zeus for permission to marry her. Zeus said yes, but told no one else. One day, as Persephone picked flowers, the earth cracked open and Hades emerged, taking her to the underworld. Demeter's grief turned the earth barren. Zeus intervened. Eventually, a deal was struck. Persephone would spend part of the year with Hades and part with her mother. This myth explains the seasons. When Persephone's in the underworld, it's winter. When she returns, spring arrives. Over time, Persephone embraced her role. She became queen of the underworld, standing beside Hades, not beneath him. He loved her, he never strayed, he honored her, and she ruled with him. In a pantheon filled with unfaithful gods, Hades and Persephone became a rare example of loyalty. Let's compare. Zeus, a tyrant with lightning bolts, known for cheating and manipulating mortals. Poseidon, a god of storms and vengeance, easily enraged. Apollo, narcissistic and impulsive. Ares, bloodthirsty. And Hades, he ruled silently. He stayed faithful. He honored oaths. He punished no one without cause. He didn't interfere in mortal affairs. When heroes like Heracles and Orpheus entered his realm, he didn't smite them. He listened. He negotiated. He was a ruler, not a tyrant. He didn't need to be worshipped. He needed to be respected, and he earned it. So why does Hades still get painted as evil? Because fear distorts truth. Because death is scary. Because silence is unsettling. In modern storytelling, we crave villains, and Hades was too easy to cast. But the real story isn't about cruelty, it's about balance. Hades wasn't chaos, he was order. The most misunderstood god in mythology wasn't feared because he was wicked. He was feared because he never pretended to be good. He was simply necessary. Hades represents the ultimate truth. Everything ends. He's not a bringer of death. He's a caretaker of what follows. He reminds us that endings are part of existence. And maybe that's why we need Hades. Not to scare us, but to teach us, to accept, to balance, to understand.
The real villain in Greek myth, it wasn't Hades, it was our fear. Hades didn't fail anyone, we failed to see him clearly. In the shadow of death, he stood with dignity. He ruled what all others ran from, and he did it with justice. The god of the dead was more human than most of Olympus. So the next time you hear someone say Hades was evil, remember, he never lied, he never cheated, he never betrayed. He simply ruled, silently, honorably. He wasn't the god of evil, he was the god of truth. If you want more myth-busting stories like this one, tap the next video, because what you think you know about Zeus might be even darker.